You probably didn't know this, but guess what? Green happens to be my favorite color. Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and happy St. Patrick's Day. I've seen a lot of funny memes going around saying you don't have to worry about wearing green because nobody's gonna touch you. Because of, you know what I mean. Never mind. Figured I'd throw on a green shirt, make my entire system green, and find a new world wallpaper that's green. And that is the game that we are going to be discussing in this video. Dev Diary Chapter 3 just dropped for New World, and they break down specializations and weapons. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Here at Action RPG, I stream, I do tech reviews, I cover major gaming news, but the big portion of this channel, all things Action RPG. So if you grew up loving the Diablo series, if you're a fan of top-down isometric hack-and-slash style games, you are in the right place. So please consider subscribing and supporting smaller channels. All right, let's get on to the news. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go. All right, so let's jump right into this. So I'm back on Massively Overpowered, and this is an article written by Elliot L. We'll just say L. I don't know how to say his last name. New World's latest video, Dev Diary, covers weapons and specializations. If you're eagerly looking forward to New World, you will want to watch the video below, and then you will hear the first words spoken in the video by lead UX designer Dan H, and you will probably pause for a moment, not sure whether you heard it quite right, but you did. As transcribed directly from the video, New World is an MMO, but unlike MMOs, our combat system is 100% real-time action combat. Bring on the action. Probably thinking, what in the world does that mean? At the moment, several MMOs with action combat will look at the camera as if they were in the office. You are invited to join them. The video itself does go into some additional details about the game's combat system, showing off the ways that different weapons work and how the weapon-based specialization works as a whole. But if you know a fair bit about MMOs on a whole, and the genre's history, there are, well, certain quotes that stand out as requiring a very thin reference pool to make any amount of sense. Still, you can watch the video for yourself below. So, I'm going to play this for you now, and then I will jump back at the end of the video and give you my 2 cents. Enjoy.
New World is an MMO, but unlike MMOs, our combat system is 100% real-time action combat.
The way you move, the way you position yourself, the way you dodge and lunge, all matters. It's more like an action RPG than a traditional MMO.
It's not just gear and stats and things that are going to decide who wins a fight. Positioning and tactics and reaction times and knowing what the different moves an enemy is capable of really affect how successful you're going to be.
You have to move around in space and you have to set up your attacks, how you're dodging. It makes it very dynamic and visceral.
100% real-time combat.
Weapon Mastery has added a ton of depth and strategy to our combat system.
In New World, the Weapon Mastery system allows a player to grow more proficient in the types of gameplay that they enjoy and they do the most.
So each type of weapon has a different skill tree. As you continue to use that weapon, you'll develop more proficiency and you'll be able to unlock new abilities and bonuses on the skill tree. You can either focus on a specific type of weapon or you can spread out and try all different types.
Whatever gear you're wearing, you can have different gear that makes you play different. So if you wanted to be a frontline tank type of player, you could get heavy armor with a shield. If you wanted to be more of a backline shooter, you want something lighter that can allow you to be a little more flexible with a gun or a bow.
Like if you want to go in with rifles, a blazing, or you want a bow and arrow, or you want to just sword and board, you can actually equip those. So as you grow as a player, you can have different loadouts at the ready. So whatever the situation calls for, you have all these different types of ways that you can deal with the situation and your play style.
A lot of MMOs, you will choose a class, and that will determine the way that you progress. New World's doing a little bit differently, where you pick up a weapon and start fighting with it. And as you fight with it, you begin to earn progression points for that weapon.
As players use weapons, they now gain experience with those weapons. That experience gives you points that then you can invest to specialize amongst the different trees.
So your great axe, which is a giant two-handed axe, will have a skill tree. We want these weapons to feel so different depending on the choice you make that it almost feels like a class choice.
With the hatchet, for example, you can focus on throwing or on melee damage. With the sword and shield, you can either focus on offensive damage or more defensive buffs.
With all these different combinations, there's just an enormous amount of variety that the player can achieve. So Magic plays a huge role in New World, and what's special about it in New World is that anyone can do Magic. How effective you are at Magic will be determined by how much attribute points you spend. If you put a lot of intelligence in and focus, your Magic will be much stronger than other people.
If you spend enough time with the combat system, you can eventually get good at all of the weapons in the game, and you can change your loadout on the fly based on what you want, what your party needs at the time, what the encounter calls for. Endless customization for the user. So one of the most fun things to do in New World is PvP, meaning player versus player. It doesn't stop with just one-on-one, it can be groups in battle, it can be armies in battle.
There's a lot of different ways to experience PvP in New World. The two biggest are faction PvP, which after you join a faction, you can then flag. So you go to Sanctuary, you turn on your PvP flag, and then you can battle the other two factions in PvP once you're flagged. Now you can only damage other people that are flagged, so it is an opt-in PvP system. It's a system that really rewards skill. It's a system in which a level 50 player can beat a level 60 player, and that's super cool to me.
Players can also sign up to participate in territory wars, even without being open world PvP flagged.
So wars can be conducted between different companies when you're trying to take over a territory. And in war, it's battles of 50 on 50, an attacking side, a defending side. It's really the pinnacle moment of PvP in the game.
All right, time for my opinion. Now, first off, I love the fact that she said, this is like an action RPG. I almost jumped in the middle of that video to say, woo, that's my channel name, but I figured I'd save that for here. Also, my favorite character class, if you've never been to this channel, is Sword and Board, and he said Sword and Board. Those are two things that I really liked. All right, in all seriousness, so far, New World, I gotta say, it looks pretty good. I have not been in the beta yet for this game. At this point, the game's supposed to drop hopefully in May, so I don't think I'm gonna get in any of the betas because it's literally just too close and I'm already playing so many games. That being said, a lot of people have tried to do this real-time action combat and failed. So when you're looking at MMOs, MMORPGs, action MMOs, what this is called, a lot of times the players want to do speed runs, literally just churn as much out as you possibly can because you're trying to gather resources to craft, you are trying to find better gear for your person, and when you turn in every conflict into a strategy for how to defeat the other person, it actually kind of starts becoming more like a CRPG, a classic role-playing games, like a BG3 style. But, you know, it is kind of cool. Like, I'd like to put that to the test, a level 60 versus a level 50. If the level 50 is better, they can still prevail. Like, okay, but is that same gear? You know, is it a ranged class can just kite a sword and board class? How do you close the gap? There's like just so many there's so much that goes into balancing PvP that, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a ton that is going to need to be worked out for this game. You know, but all in all, like, I think it looks pretty good. I thought it was a good update. I think they showed us enough to continue to make us excited for this title. And as of right now, I plan on playing it. But Aaron, this isn't an action RPG. I know. I still play MMOs as well, so as long as there's time. But that's really all I got today. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're about to hit 800. And this channel has been here for 5 months, so I just continue to say thank you, thank you, thank you for anybody that is supporting me. If you think I deserve it, please consider subscribing. If you're looking for any of my recent content that I've put out, look around the screen now. And I'm going to try and get out one more video by the end of today. So, hope you're all having a good one. Stay safe out there. Aaron, out.